Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. We have a special episode today that is near and dear to our hearts. If you didn't know, April is Autism Awareness Acceptance Month. We have the privilege of knowing and serving multiple individuals on the autism spectrum. We truly get to see firsthand the diversity of that spectrum in our day-to-day work as music therapists.
And in honor of our kiddos and their families, we wanted to highlight a few of their experiences. So, in this episode, we are joined by two incredible parents who are here to share their experience of parenting an autistic individual. And we're hoping this episode can be a resource to other families navigating an autism diagnosis.
Join us as we talk about misconceptions of the autism community and things that the world can do to change the lives of these individuals. We examine how music has changed the lives of these kiddos and their families. And we invite you to sit with us and take in the beauty of the autism spectrum. Remember that kindness is key, and even the simplest act of kindness can change someone's life. All right, everyone. Today we have a very special episode. We are here with Jennifer and Nicole, and as part of Autism Acceptance and Awareness Month, we wanted to highlight some of the families that we work alongside. And what better way to do that than have them join us on our podcast? So, Jennifer and Nicole, do you guys want to take a second to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit of your stories?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jenny. I am a wife and a mom to four kids. Our daughters are 15, 11, and 9, and our son Connor is 8 and has profound autism. I'm also an occupational therapist working with adults with disabilities, so it's kind of a twofold funness we have going on here. Connor was diagnosed though when he was 19 months old. He started early intervention when he was 14 months old, so we've been doing this a little bit now. He is non-speaking. He uses an AAC device to communicate. He's silly, he's sweet, he's very busy. He requires 24/7 supervision and support. But he's shaped our family in the most profound ways. We're very grateful for him and all his energy.
We love Connor here. I know Danielle works a lot with Connor, but we are
Yeah,
so
she does a
excited.
great job.
Yes,
I love him.
yes, we're so excited to have you here. Nicole, do you want to tell us a
Thanks.
little bit about your story?
Uh, I am married and I have two kids, Cadence and Weston. Cadence is 12 and Weston is 8. Weston got diagnosed when he was just about 2. He was verbal and then went nonverbal completely, like just overnight. It was completely crazy. And now we consider him pre-verbal because he can say things, he can tell us some things, but he still won't tell us like if he's sick or if something's wrong, he won't tell us any of that stuff. But so he can talk somewhat. We did also use a communication device for a long time until he started putting it in the garbage. So then we were like, he is over that. So that was it. But we still have it just in case he wants it. Now he just kind of plays with it, more or less, the communication device. But we still have that. But yeah, that's kind of our story.
Awesome. We love Weston. I work with Weston in music, and he is just the best time.
You're amazing with him.
He has been really showing off his dance moves lately.
Ooh.
Those wobbly knees of his are an icon in every session.
Yes.
Okay, so ahead of time, we came up with some questions, and we emailed you most of the questions. We do have a little rapid fire segment that we didn't include because we wanted it to be kind of a surprise. So, but I guess we'll just start and through and see what we come up with.
Sure.
All right. So the first thing we wanted to ask you both was, how does autism uniquely shape how you experience and view the world? It's kind of a big question to start off with. So
Yeah, I really had to think about it. And it's funny because our world moves quite quickly because Connor moves quite quickly. He's a speedy guy. But you might hear him in the background a little bit too. He's here roaming around being loud. So if you hear that, that's what's up. Um, But at the same time, he slowed down our pace of life because most of the world is always chasing like the next milestone or the next success, and that's not really where he lives. He required us to kind of have more patience and break things down into smaller steps and live in the moments that we're in, really paying attention to the things that we're doing. The best example I could think of is I love going to the beach with him and just standing in the wind. He just stops and feels the wind. It's the only time he's ever still. He just stops and feels the wind on his face and experiences those things differently than maybe most of us do, or really, we should maybe more, but has helped us to enjoy those moments. But he doesn't just do them to enjoy them. He needs to do it. His brain needs to pause to kind of process the world around him differently, and keeps him grounded, and it keeps us grounded. So I think that's how he's really like shaped our whole worldview to just experience life differently.
That's amazing. I want to
Yeah,
be like Connor and just stand in the wind at the beach.
I know, right?
I'm gonna do it next time. That's an inspiration.
Music therapy at the beach.
Yes. Honestly, I'm
be
really
nice.
pulling for us to have our own outdoor space
Oh,
here
yeah.
where we could just sit outside and do music outside. That would be a dream.
Connor would
Especially
love
on like
that.
days like, well, it's a little chilly today.
Yeah.
It's like 39 degrees. But when like in central New York it does it is tolerable to be outside, that would be the dream to have the outdoor
Wonderful.
space for
Yeah.
that. What about you, Nicole?
Well, I guess I had the same as Jen. Like she said, she struggled with this one. I definitely struggled because it was like good and bad, I guess.
Yeah.
I always say Weston made me a better mom. Not that I was a bad mom to my daughter. It just made it, I was more patient. I looked at things completely different. So we are always late. I am always walking in probably 3 minutes late for music therapy. And usually my hair is a mess and we're usually half dressed or whatever, but like we're there and we're present. But with her, it was always like, we were out the door and we were on time and it was always everything. Whereas like now I'm just like in the moment with the kids. Like it just doesn't matter to me anymore. And the negative way is just you definitely see how people, even like doctors, treat your child differently. And Jen, you probably having 4 kids, you probably notice it,
Yeah.
how your 3 others get treated differently than your one. Because I notice
For
it with
sure.
my 2. So I guess seeing the world differently that way too. It's
Yeah.
super, super sad when you see even like doctors treat your kids differently than, how you're, yeah, it's just sad. But so like I had a really hard time with that question. So I don't know. I guess there's a good and there's a bad. So Weston definitely made me a better mom and I definitely see the world differently now because of him and I'm so grateful for that. Um and I see like you don't need words at all to know he loves me. Like you love each other. And that's just amazing how he looks at me and I just know how much he loves me. And I didn't realize that with my daughter. Like she said she loved me. I know she loved me, but it was just different. But so it's just different. So it's just beautiful. It's definitely a beautiful relationship. Um yeah, but it's also sad though with the difference with the world. So
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
had trouble with that question. So
Well, that's kind of like why we wanted to have this conversation too, is I feel as though so many people don't understand, anything about the autism community. And so we wanted to have people understand like the good, the bad, the ugly, and that's okay that it's all in one. And so we're really advocating for
I
that.
was gonna say advocacy is pretty big.
Yeah.
For music therapy alone, that's the whole reason of our podcast. So we want to use our podcast as a resource for just advocacy of anything that we want. All the things. So we're gonna touch on what are some misconceptions of this community that you have personally experienced.
It's funny, Nicole, that you brought that up because exactly what you're saying was some of the misconceptions that I thought about, is how people treat Connor differently than our other kids, and why that is. I had to really think about like why is that misconception there, and why is he treated differently, specifically at the doctor. I think that's a great example, because he can't communicate the same way, or the social expectation, is different for him because of the way he communicates, that it's often conceived that he doesn't want to have a relationship, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's not smart, or, whatever the misconception is. But that's so far from the truth. He just communicates differently, and he communicates well when he feels safe, when the people that he's around, he knows he can connect with in a meaningful or genuine way. Like you said, Nicole, when your son looks at you, or was it your son or your daughter? I'm so sorry.
My son,
Your
you're
son,
right.
I thought so. Okay, what was his name?
Weston.
Weston, there it is. When Weston looks at you, that you just know he loves you. It's when you develop a relationship with our Connor and he knows he's safe, he can just look at somebody and communicate. They know his gestures, they know his nonverbal communication really well, despite using the AAC or not. And he's starting to use it better, but he knows so much vocabulary, but he still needs help to communicate that effectively. So I guess one of the biggest misconceptions is there's a lack of desiring that relationship, when it's just a lack of ability to externally communicate the way we do. So it just is presented differently. And Gracie, my oldest daughter, has such a and Danielle's seen it, very connected relationship with Connor. And it's beautiful to witness. So many people will make comments on the outside like, wow, that's amazing, or that's beautiful, when it's really just she knows him. She's spent the time with him. And a lot of people, I feel like, just don't put in that time or consistency with autistic people in our community. And maybe it's hard to be included in some of the environments that we hope to be included in. And that's where those misconceptions are born, is they're not as comfortable being in some of the, community events or whatever that we go to. And there's just not the patience or time that's spent developing those relationships. So I feel like that's just such a difficult thing to navigate, because we try so hard to help facilitate that, but it takes somebody being patient, somebody being kind, somebody slowing down and being consistent and trying again. And Danielle is a great example of that. And when Connor comes to music class, I mean, she's just patient with him, waits for him to come around, show her, what kind of mood he's in that day and what he's interested in doing. It just takes time.
I love that because it's hard. I understand a little differently. I live with, ever since I was 18 months old, actually, my
Mhm.
Down syndrome aunt has lived with us. So I am used to misconceptions. I'm used to the stares that there's people who don't, maybe never seen a Down syndrome person before. She just turned 71, actually. So I'm used to the space. I'm used to understanding what quiet maybe they need so I'm used to all of that, and I understand how all these other diagnoses may also perceive kind of the same things. So just
Yeah.
advocating for everyone is so important. I
Yeah.
I understand.
Oh.
I don't know if you
Definitely the stares get me every time.
it's
Like,
hard.
it doesn't bother my husband, but it really upsets me. Like, why stare? I just don't get it. Because I feel like it makes it worse.
Yeah, it's just they're not used to just seeing it a lot of the times, but trying to advocate, especially for young kids, like because they've never maybe seen, and trying to tell them like, no, they're fine, but it's hard because you just want your kiddo to be accepted and normal in a sense, and then it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when, you know, Jen, you mentioned about, making that safe space for him and creating that relationship with your children. And when someone stares at you, like you mentioned, you aren't feeling safe either. So how are you supposed to be that safe person for them when you're suddenly in fight or flight, mama bear protection mode?
Right. And
So,
he definitely feels that. He knows
yeah,
that.
Yeah, they
yeah,
feed
Yeah.
off our energy too.
Yeah. 100%.
yeah. Um, Nicole, did you have any other misconceptions that you wanted to chat about?
Yeah, that's probably it. Like, just when he has his meltdowns in public, people just think he's a bad kid and I'm a bad mom. And I think that's probably what upsets me the most. And I don't know why. Like, and my husband's just like, I don't understand why it upsets you so much. And I hate the stairs and I hate it. Like, we took him to one of his classes, and all the kids are playing around, and one of the kids came up to me right in front of Weston and said, "Why is he so bad?" And I
Mhm.
said, Weston's not bad. No, he's not bad." And like, it just bothered me because he heard that. Like, he heard a kid say he was bad. So that bothered me so much. So then when we got in the car, I explained to him, like, you're not a bad kid at all. Like, I don't want you to ever think that about yourself. But like, those are the things. Like, she was just a little girl, but she doesn't know, right? And I probably should explain a little more to her, but she took me so off guard that I just I didn't know what to say. And I was just like, he's not a bad kid. Like, you shouldn't say that. He's not a bad kid. But that's probably it. It's just the misconception that when they do have their meltdowns, that it's on us as a parent, that we're the bad people and that they're the bad kids, when it's not that at all. But
Definitely not.
yeah.
I know too, there have been instances where I've been in schools and everything, and the whole misconception of they don't understand what's going on is
Mhm.
huge when, you know, therapists, teachers, aides, caregivers are talking poorly in front of these kids about
Mhm.
what's going on. And I think, if we just had, if everybody operated on the basic level of kindness was the main thing, then so many of these misconceptions could just be, they wouldn't even exist. They would not
Right.
even exist. Um, when preparing for this podcast, we were talking about different things we wanted to talk about and say, and the phrase had recently come up, and it was, if love was enough, dot, dot, dot. And in my opinion, like I said, if love was enough, we would be celebrating all of the things that make everybody different in this community, and we wouldn't even be giving it a second thought. And I know you've probably experienced too, the people that obviously your kids feel safe with, they are operating on that level. And, you know, I guess the real question is, how do we teach the rest of the world to just operate on love? And when did love stop being enough?
Mhm.
And when did all of the other, stigmas and stereotypes take over that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and Jen, you probably get it because I always got it with Weston before he started talking more. Um, I think when they can't speak, they think they don't know anything and they can't understand anything. And that absolutely probably drove me insane. I don't know how many times I said, he understands every single word you're saying. So
Yeah.
stop.
Yep.
Like, stop talking.
Yeah.
I said that about a billion times to people because they would just say such negative things. And I'm like, he understands every word you're saying. So stop.
Yeah. We definitely get that a lot too.
And
100%.
I think the nonverbal children get it more than the verbal.
Yeah.
And I just think it's just because of the nonverbal part, which I think is super sad either way, but I just think it just shouldn't happen.
And I think there's just a lack of understanding that since they aren't yet, um, expressively speaking back to you, that they're not able to internalize anything that's being said, which is
Right.
completely not the case for Connor. I mean, he listens to everything everybody says,
Right.
and it's funny because he'll answer questions on his device when you think he's not even close to listening to you. I remember I was at the dentist one time, and the dentist was, got one side of his mouth cleaned and then was talking about how, okay, we have to do this other side of his mouth and talking to me like, I'm going to need him to open this side of his mouth. So you're going to have to come over here. And like, he just grabbed her hand, took the toothbrush, shoved it in the other side of his mouth. He understood every direction she was saying and just wanted it to be done. So it was like, she just looked at me and I was like, he knows what you're saying. He understands the directions. It's just when he's capable and motivated to process. And it has very little to do with intelligence, but more to do with the ability to process based upon all the other external factors happening. So, which causes some of our meltdowns sometimes. Sometimes he gets so overloaded by other things going around or on and then people don't understand. They think that he's, the tantrum where he's just avoiding something when it's not at all. He just, his brain can't take any more information in and he needs a break. And it's as simple as that. And a break will change everything. But that's where that kindness comes in of kindness leads to understanding, to asking questions rather than putting judgments like Nicole's talking about on and stares and labeling of bad mom or bad kid. It's more, okay, what's going on? How can I help? What would be supportive? What might be happening with Connor instead of labeling it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of the world seems to be going to a very judgment first lately instead of asking,
Yeah.
how can I help? We've kind of shifted away from that. And I think at least we always try to be like, okay, what's going on? We want to figure out how we can help first. So I think
Yeah.
it's just trying to, if we ever could get everyone on the same page again, getting back to just the kindness first would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I think that's just how we're advocating and maybe telling people, this is what we can do instead. Can we please try it? So
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. And that's another hope for this episode specifically is that people listen to it and they just remember that all of these people, everyone in the autism community, everyone that you may perceive as different or a bad kid or, anything like that, they are human too. And you would never treat, at least we would never treat,
Yeah.
somebody who's human in that way. And so I think we just have to really advocate for that. And that kind of, I don't know, we kind of touched on this, our third question, a little bit already, but it was if everyone led with love and kindness, how do you think the autism community would change? And specifically, how would your lives change?
I think kindness changes everything. I think that understanding, like I said, kindness leads to understanding, and I think that that would change everything for not only Connor but our family, and just being able and comfortable to go places and do things. And for his siblings, I mean, they talk about how it's difficult even to have him come to some of their programs or some of their events, sports, chorus. I mean, you name it, they have all sorts of things going on in schools, because there is a lack of kindness or understanding from, other students or sibling or other families. So I think just, starting there with being able or open to asking questions and being supportive would change everything for us.
Yeah. Same for us. Like we would go out more. Like
Yeah.
we really don't go out to dinner because dinner's hard. And so we get takeout all the time because we just get too many stares and it's just too hard to handle. I just can't take it. It really bothers me. So we only do it a little bit, but yeah, it's the staring and you're right. It's the like when my daughter goes to school and she listens to her friends or people or her classmates making fun of other kids and she's just like, stop. Like it's not fair. They're people. So just stop. But then that makes her get excluded too because she's saying things. But she always does stand up for everybody. But it has singled her out of things because kids don't see what they're doing wrong. But if they just led with kindness like that every time, that would change the world. That would be
Sure
good.
would.
Yeah, I think especially at least your kids, they've kind of grown up with this individual. Like I've grown up with someone. So to me, it makes sense to lead with kindness. Your kids understand the fairness of everything. And to me, it seems like they're already very, very good kids. Like I've seen with Connor, his sister, just the love she has for him. It's just amazing to see how much love. And I've worked with Weston before, and like she's so amazing with him too. So if we can just, it's hard because you want to make that people understand them, but then they have to feel comfortable enough to be with it, and just we have to be comfortable enough asking hard questions, and being comfortable and open to something new because we're very scared of new things sometimes. So
Yeah, we have you know, encouraged our girls to be advocates as well. And when Autism Month came around, because that's the time to talk about it, at least that's when it's, in the spotlight, then the girls would always take like little autism trinkets into their classrooms and have kids ask them questions. And, they'd come with a little bit of this is who Connor is, and this is what autism is on their own levels and share that with their classmates. So it was very brave of them. They've done that ever since they were third, fourth grade and just kind of continued to share. But I think it gives an opportunity for other kids at a young age to really understand and lead with that kindness, to be able to ask questions and be curious because they don't live with it or don't experience it on a day-to-day basis, but learn how to talk about it. Because I think if we don't have the language or if we aren't sharing the differences, then it can be a little intimidating. So it's been helpful and that's why I like this, podcasts like this and opportunities to kind of just get out there and explain what's going on. I'm always up for, and, Connor is usually up for. So thank you for doing this today too. It helps to facilitate that.
Mhm. That's what also would help, is if even just people just ask questions
Yes.
instead of just standing there staring.
Right.
You know what I mean? That would even be better than, just passing judgment. It would just be better, because then you could actually pass the knowledge on, and it would just make and then they could pass the knowledge on, and then they could pass the knowledge. It would just keep going.
Yes.
And not
But,
only knowledge, but that love. I mean, you're talking about your child. And
well,
so
yeah.
when you're talking about your child, you get to share all of these amazing, wonderful things that they do that you love about them. So you're showing that in that relationship, there's not just a caregiver taking care of somebody with a disability. And they're loved. They're loved and they're cared for and they are irreplaceable. And not only do you get to spread that information, but you get to share that relationship too and know that those relationships exist. Because I feel like people just don't understand that relationship exists either.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's beneficial for both people. I mean, we um, receive so much from Connor. He's taught us so much, like Nicole was saying, how to be a better mom, how to slow down, how to be more patient. Connor's taught our family so much about so many things as well, that it's beneficial both ways. But I think that, sometimes that's missed in the greater community.
Yeah, and having you both have children that are not diagnosed with autism or are autistic. And so, is it hard to I'm assuming the answer is just going to be yes, but like have them, like, I don't know, go to like, I know Cadence does dance, right? And then like go to competitions and have these accolades. And so I think, is it hard to see that as well? And then know that it's going to be different for Connor and Weston. And then I had thoughts. The train was working.
The train is left the rails.
But yeah, to have that, and then, I think also if they had asked questions, like, that is also kind of a shining moment, Like, yes, my daughter competed in a competition, but also guess what my son did for the first time today? Or, like, he got up and was just, like, so excited to live today, there was, like, all those little things, too. So.
Right.
Agreed. It can be, it's funny because sometimes the therapists and the people who work with us become more like family because we're sharing those accolades or those, experiences with people who do have relationships built with our son. And that tends to be, music teachers, therapists, teachers, and not as many maybe classmates or friendships outside of that, or even other adults in the community, like dance teachers and stuff, are difficult to make those connections with. So it's just a different way of sharing for sure. And it hits. It can be hard.
Yep.
Again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of these. And I know it's not easy, and I know we are doing this in the month of April, which is Autism Acceptance Month. And we hope that we can continue to have these conversations all of the time. Yeah. So that is our hope. What better way to kick it off than in April?
I love
But
that.
we do hope to become, a resource for all of these individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
That's
want to
great.
ask the next question?
Yeah.
What a segue.
Which one? I was like, because we
Yeah, I
kind of
just kind of set you
basically.
up.
Yeah, I was like, well, we kind of basically were just talking about this, but like, what resources or support systems have you found to be beneficial for your family?
I mean, I know obviously for us, I was just saying like therapists, or his
Right.
OT, PT, speech. I mean, he's been in early intervention since he was 14 months old. COVID was super hard because everything shut down and went virtual. And that was right when he was turning 3, wasn't quite 3. So, super influential time for a kid. So that was hard, but that's when we connected with Families First at that time, which is a grant funded agency that has really been supportive for us. They, really helped us develop as a family in loving Connor. He's done ABA as well, and obviously your music classes have been super supportive and helpful. And he does a water movement class through the YMCA. They have an access and abilities program that he does, and that's been really nice too. But those are spaces that have been created to, really help him thrive.
I would say there's a couple of Facebook pages that I joined that I've gotten really close. Like I've learned a lot from. And then when he did ABA, I was very close to the people he worked with there, and I learned a lot there. But yeah, you're right, like the therapists and everybody. You
Yeah.
do, they're definitely family.
Yeah.
So it's they just know your kid, and that's just it. Like
And I don't know
um,
if you feel like this, Nicole, but it's an understanding that maybe others don't really have. The way they know your kid and the way they understand and relate is, a way that not a lot of other people do. So it becomes a closer relationship for me
well,
because,
right. I don't worry
yeah,
about going to music therapy. Like
yes,
I
yeah,
stress about going to like the warrior class that I have to go, and he has to be with all these kids, and I'm like, oh my God. Like I stress
yeah,
about it. He's not stressed about it. I am though. But
right,
like it's just the way he gets treated by the other kids.
yeah,
But not the person in charge. She's like great, but it's just the other kids. But yeah. But yeah, going to music class is great. He's just great there.
agreed.
Weston has grown so much too. Can I brag about your kid?
Well, you have literally like grown into him. Like he's literally now you've like won him over.
I think I do.
It
Yes.
takes like a whole year usually to win him over.
Well, and I think it did take about a year for us too, and he's just grown so much. I mean, I remember our first session sitting there and he wanted nothing to do with me. Nothing. And we tried to play his favorite song, Barbara Ann. We were drumming. He was not having it. And now, some days it's harder to get him into the therapy room than others. But I also will never forget the day that we pulled our waiting room rug.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe you did it. He didn't want to leave. I have to say that rug is it's very comfy. It is very soft, but he didn't want to leave this stinking rug. And you
Oh,
brought the rug right into the room.
And
I
we
was
did
just,
music on the rug. And
yep.
that, I think that was even a big breaking point too. It's just he was like, "Oh, like she's gonna do what I need in the whatever I need for the day."
It was a
But
big rug too.
It's
It's not even a small rug. It's a big rug.
that's
no, the
awesome.
best part was that it didn't fit in the room.
I was gonna say,
So
was it
it was
like-
like curved. It was like curved up onto the piano. Like the chairs were like holding it up. It was kind of like a rug bowl.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But like you made it work for him because he wasn't budging. But like that's his
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've also done music outside of my room on that rug. I think there were other people there that day, so we were like, the rug's coming with us. Yep.
I thought you were kidding at first, and I was like, "Oh, she's not. Oh, she's not. She is bringing the rug in." Okay.
We wonder that sometimes with Kayla. We're like, are you going forward with it? And you're like, nope.
You do what you do for the kids that you love and you care about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you guys mentioned too your therapists and the people that directly work with your children, have become family. And I think that's what's so special, specifically about where we work at Keys, is, I mean, our motto is like family first. And I think, obviously we want you to prioritize your families. Keys wants us to prioritize our personal families. But I think that message still applies to, like, we come and approach our work as a family.
Yes.
What was
I
that?
think that was my foot.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's
But yeah,
meaningful thing.
absolutely.
So we mentioned various therapies work, community groups, Facebook groups. Another thing I listed was, are there any like sensory toys or like physical things that you have found that Connor and Weston just adore and love?
Swings.
Oh my gosh, we have one too in our living room.
Yes, we have one in a sensory room. We
There you
created a
go.
sensory room for Connor, and it's hanging from the ceiling in the middle of the room.
Yep.
I advocate for Keys to get a swing next.
Yes. We are also advocating for Keys to get
Yes.
swing next.
But that's key for and as an OT, like I'm all about the vestibular input. It's so impactful for a kid. It really regulates their system in a way that nothing else does. That and the proprioceptive, the deep pressure input. Those are the two like biggest ones for kids with autism that really regulates their system because their nervous system can be so disjointed that input is so impactful for them to be able, just like music is, to be able to regulate. The other thing we have is a ball pit. He loves his ball pit. Weighted vest. He likes that a lot, which I should bring to music sometime. I never really thought about that. But he's not big into weighted blankets because he doesn't like to stay still, but the weighted vest is huge. Lots of fidgets. But a lot of the music instruments have been nice. What's that one that you have, Danielle, that's like the prickly thing that he always rolls on his skin?
Is that the Kabasa?
Yes.
Where it's like the
He loves
beads?
that.
Those have been fun. I know we were
Yeah.
rolling it. I think
Those are
he
nice.
really liked it on his arm and then his leg. Once he realized he could do it on something else, he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Something new just happened. I love
But those
it.
inputs are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a swing, we have a trampoline, inside
Yeah.
and out. And
Us
then
too.
he is not a good sleeper, so we have like a really a blanket that goes completely around his whole entire mattress, and he really likes that. So even if he's like having a bad day, sometimes he'll go up in his room and just lay in that. He does like that. And then he likes the sadness from Inside Out, and it's weighted, so he carries that around sometimes. It's just a stuffed animal, but it's weighted,
Yeah.
and he really likes that. That's
He
his
loves
go-to stuff.
Kermit too.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what is with the Kermit. Okay, so he has a Kermit at home too. And he doesn't play with it as much. So I don't know. It's like your Kermit. But our Kermit's not like your Kermit. So maybe that's just it. It's your Kermit.
Kermits?
He's kinda
For those of you who
one-person.
don't know who we are, what we are, where we are, there's a Kermit the Frog who has like a little winter scarf that sits on one of our cabinets outside of my office, and it is mandatory that it's brought into music class.
Seems like now it's going to be. If you put it away ever, he's gonna go like searching for it, I bet.
Well, we did because there was one like stint where he would not go into music unless he had Kermit, and then it got put away from the winter time, and then I'm pretty sure for at least 2 or 3 weeks after he was like Kermit, Kermit. So yeah,
Kermit's name is even in the rotation. So there you go.
That's awesome.
yes. He's been taking pictures of Kermit at the end of every session too
love it.
on the piano. I just put up some lights too, so we had like a nice little aesthetic background.
Getting it right.
I know. You gotta make sure that it's right for Kermit's picture. Oh my goodness.
So, of course, we're all connected by the music that we make together with your kiddos. So we just want to ask you a couple questions about the impact that music has had in yours and your child's lives. So first, in what ways has music impacted your child's life?
And I think that applies too to not just the children that we see in sessions.
Yes.
For us, I think it's helped Weston talk more anyways. Like he would barely talk, and now you can see him. He's even singing now, and
Yeah.
everything like that. And following directions. He's following
Mm.
directions for you,
Hmm.
and that's helpful.
He's answering questions.
Answering questions, using tools that he's supposed to be using properly, like, the tools that you have and or the instruments that you have. And so, yeah,
We're still
all that.
working on the expo markers, but we will get there.
The caps. Yeah, it's okay. We'll get there. Give him another year, another year.
That's awesome. For Connor, it's maybe a little bit harder to recognize being nonverbal, but it's funny because we ended up doing a week-long EEG study for him in Rochester. He was having some possible seizure concerns, so we did this EEG study, and it was during COVID, so we had like not a lot of interaction and stuff to play with. So music is always available. So I remember playing different songs for him, and Danielle knows Baby Shark's like one of his favorite songs. And I put Baby Shark on, and he was hooked up all the time, but you could see his brainwaves like going crazy when Baby Shark went on. And like, even though he wasn't verbally expressing it, you could see his excitement and his joy, and his brain was reacting. Like it was, you could literally watch it on the screen. It was so cool. And
That's
then my
awesome.
husband is a worship pastor, and he's been a worship on the worship team for a long time. So we've always had like worship music that's maybe a little calmer and quieter in our house. So I'd play some, he loves Crowder. That's one of his favorite. So I'd play some of that. And it was so interesting to watch his brain just relax right after. Like it would just go, as soon as you switch the music, you could watch his brain waves slow down and regulate and just be with the melodic and the rhythm and just be able to come to rest, and how influential that can be, if we use music as a tool and continue, to help him to respond appropriately in different environments. It's just cool to see that it really does work. Like it's even just physiologically, it really works. It's awesome. But it was exciting for us to watch that. And, you could see it, despite watching his brainwaves, you can just see it in his expressions and how he enjoys music. And even on tough days, I know Danielle's had him a couple of times where he's come in and just not been himself, whether it be medical or whatever. But within 10 or 15 minutes, he comes around and finds his place. And, whether it be still a slow day or a moving day, he regulates, and it really helps him to regulate his entire system. And that's just so beneficial.
It's so cool to like we know music helps. Like we have
Yeah.
like there's so much research and evidence, but having to be able to, for you to see that, it's so rewarding for us to hear like, yeah, we know it works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody else does
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forget. We
Yeah.
were just filming a different episode, and I think, I don't, was it an episode? We might have been just talking of like when we are maybe like in like a school setting and like someone outside of your session comes in and like we want to just prove to everyone like music does work. You might not be in a great session right now, but please know it works. So always just for us to be like, no, music does work. Like there's so much more. One session might not show you everything, but it does.
It does. Yeah,
Definitely works.
for sure.
The best feeling is when you're in like a situation with another professional or somebody outside of the music therapy session, and like the session is like the best session you've ever had, and you're like,
Mm.
yes.
Yes.
Do you ever feel that way as an OT, Jen?
Oh my gosh. 100%. 100%. Connor also, like ABA takes a lot of data. I'd love to have an ABA specialist in your room and like, find the data of how it works and the responses, maybe how Wesley's like able to process and follow directions better and all of that. But they were taking data when Connor started a sensory diet as an OT, and he, got input that he needed consistently, and his injurious behavior, self-injurious behavior, dropped by like 70% in 1 month. It was insane. It was like, yes, sensory works. I told you it works. Like it's just so cool to see. But I mean, it's hard to maybe necessarily prove that from like a response, reaction, but it's clearly when the quality of life for our kids. I know Nicole would probably say the same. Like when Connor comes to music, it's such a, he wants to go. He's excited to go. He runs out of the van and like he wants to be there. And that right there is enough just that without anything else. Like, it's hard to, we were talking about, it's hard to find those places where there is space created for our kiddos and he's happy and comfortable there. And that's enough without all the other great stuff that comes along with it.
Yeah, I think that's the main kind of how we operate as therapists is we are very the humanistic. We love to meet our clients where they're at.
Yeah.
Like if we're having a rough day, like we always talk about floor time. If we want to lay on the floor, I might take a little bit to get back up, but we're on the floor. Like I think just because we know that safe space for a lot of these kids, we know we're new people. We know it's a new environment, and that's huge. So offering a safe space for them to actually do what they want to do, feeling free to explore different things, is so rewarding for everyone.
And
Yeah.
for them to know that, like, no matter what they're going through in the day, in that room, they are going to be accepted for what is happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I am always up and down on the floor.
I don't know.
Yeah. I do feel bad sometimes during Weston sessions. I make everybody get on the floor.
And
Yep.
I'm like, oh, geez, really? Okay.
Yep.
You're on the floor.
But like, if people watched like Weston's first music therapy session to now, you could totally see how music changed him in a good way. You know what I mean?
Progression.
The
Yeah.
progression of it all. You're right. The progression of it all and how he's changed into something so amazing. And he's able to cope with more things too because of it too. Also,
Yeah.
it's just amazing. Definitely does beautiful things.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think we were talking about in another episode that'll be dropping soon about like just the immediate success. Oh my goodness, I can't talk today. Immediate success of like music therapy, like it. I mean, we said for like a year, like you can see how much progression has happened in a year. Like we're not always going to see the results as soon because it doesn't happen like that. For at least for music, we're still building that trust and safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk a little bit more on that in another episode to come. No.
I
I
think
think our second question kind of already tied into. Did it?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our next question was, why do you think music has as big of an impact that it does on autistic individuals? And I think we talked about that too, as it provides that sensory seeking, the sensory needs that a lot of individuals need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that, my experience with the music is that, unlike other therapies, maybe it doesn't demand, it invites. It gives more space. Like sometimes when we're in different, school-like sessions that there's an expectation of progress that's there, but music just invites you to come regulate and invites you to rest in it. And then there's progress because there's that relaxation and regulation and rhythm and, just structure that allows us to progress without demanding it. Yeah.
I love that. I can't think. It invites, it doesn't
Yes.
demand. That. I
Yes.
love that. Yes, and I think I've been in sessions like you mentioned too in schools where you're following an IEP. You have to do certain things to
Yeah.
be to bill for them or to meet state regulations, and those are tough. Those are sometimes really tough because
Yeah.
you never know what the day is going to bring.
Right. Whereas music just makes space. It's nice. Yeah.
Okay, next one. Okay, this question was inspired by Jen's testimonial that she
Aw.
submitted to us. And so I kind of already know the answer from you, Jen,
Yeah.
about how you're going to say it. But I'm interested to talk about with all of us, how has music strengthened or forged a connection between you and your child or between your child and another individual?
I mean, ours already, but part of it that I just would love to reinforce is that it's built relationships with his siblings. I mean, Connor is able to connect with other adults and, especially family. It allows communication where there isn't any, and a way to bridge that gap, which has been so beautiful to see. I mean, I love the rocket ship song when Gracie's got Connor and she
I
like,
was just
jumps him up in the
thinking,
air, the rocket ship and
yeah.
spins him around. He just engages the eye contact and the love that you see between the two of them when they're singing together and doing the same things together and enjoying the same moments together in something that's united is so huge. So huge.
Yeah, we love it when the families get involved because you're is just as important as them in the session. Is that the
Yeah.
word I'm trying to find, I guess? Um, because at the end of the day, like they're going home with you to have that connection still built in the music. Because, I mean, if we needed, we can always create certain songs for different situations. So if you want to sing that song on the way home,
Yeah.
we kind of can do that as well. So it's just so awesome having. Oh, we have a full room all the time. It's like a party in there, and I love it.
Yeah, we do.
I know. I was like,
Always. We
he's
bring
coming out
everybody.
today. Let him in, let him in. But it's just so fun because you can tell he loves having the extra people. We love
He
the drum.
does.
We love the floor drum. I think everyone loves our
Who
floor drum.
doesn't?
Everybody loves the floor
Everyone
drum.
loves the floor drum. So that one's so awesome.
Kermit
Yeah.
also loves the floor drum.
Oh, who would have thought?
Aw.
Um, I was when you were just talking about that. I think it's sometimes just as important, if not more important, for the family members in certain situations that they come to music. I mean, I've had sessions where kid doesn't want to do anything, especially like in home. It's kind of harder to wrangle them, get them to sit in one place because they're in their safe space, right? So they want to go wherever they can and regulate how they need to. But I've had sessions where I've done like 15 minutes of music and then mom or dad has spent the next 15 minutes talking to me about, the struggles that they had for that day. And
Yeah.
yes, they're not my clients, but I am there for them just as much as I am for their kids. And I think a lot of people don't realize that we do that. I know we're not providing actual services to these parents, but we are providing a safe space not only for their kids but for their families too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's appreciated for sure. It means a lot. Yeah.
Yep. I just think music's definitely got Weston to talk a lot more. And I don't think people would believe it, but I definitely do think it helped. So
For sure.
yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that it would. So that's why I always started music therapy. And I remember telling you, like, I read this and it said it could help him talk more. So I'm just gonna try it. Cause you were like, what do you want out of music therapy? And I was like, well, I read all this, but I do definitely think it helped. So I definitely think music helps with just talking to and just getting, you know, learning how you read a book by singing to him. I think that helps him read too.
hmm And he
So all
knows
that.
it too because if I take a break and I stop singing, he starts. He's like, "Nope,
Right.
we're singing."
So I think all that. So,
And there's that in music. I'm not going to speak in scientific terms because I can't think about that right now today. But there is that thought that music is a motivator. So it is a motivator for motor planning and especially in speech. So,
Yeah.
I think we did it the first time in our first session with Weston. We did Barbara Ann, right? Because, I mean, it's.
that is his jam. Something about that song. I don't know.
I know, but it's so catchy, and you can't help but sing along to ba 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 ba, and even just it's that repetitiveness. It's reinforcing that sound. It's getting them to a specific point in the music, and yeah, there's all these little things that I think so many people don't understand, like how when people are say how can I help them talk? That is why.
Even though Connor's nonverbal, one of the a few things that he said is the do 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 from Baby Shark. If you stop
He's
and he's
saying
still
it.
processing it, he says it out loud, which is amazing because
Yes.
we've heard him say like five things, but it's there. It could be there. So it's so cool to witness that from music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm realizing a lot of my kids know more like the songs than I think they do. I have some other kids where we're just filling in like the ends of phrases, and I'll stop to maybe like cough or something, and he'll fill it in.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't usually
You
do
know
that
it.
word.
Yeah.
When did you know that word? You know more than you do. So then I'm
Yes.
like, all right, so we're challenging you a little bit more then. Good to know. They catch you off
That's
guard
like what
sometimes.
that's like what happened to us the last time. He sang the whole hello song. And
Yeah.
I was like, what? If you could do it now, you're gonna do it all the time. Like
Yeah.
seriously?
They
And I was
look
like,
up and
wait,
they're
did he
like,
do this
oh.
with my husband?
He did.
So yeah,
He did.
but
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, he
But
does
that was
it
the
with
first time
dad.
out of 2 years that he's ever done it.
That's
Like he
awesome.
would never do it before. So I guess it's just that time, where they want to do it.
And I think
Yeah.
maybe that's a little bit of that understanding of that patience of being quiet for a minute and giving them a minute to process to come out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think presuming competence is so
Yes.
important. That is my favorite phrase lately.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Presume competence. Need I say more? Really?
Yeah, I think most of us know at least how we'll give as much space and silence as we know. If they, I know a response is coming, I'm going to wait a little bit. Silence is
Yeah.
good for that stuff. So, and
Yeah.
sometimes you will get that response because they just need a little extra time
Yep.
processing what you said. And they knew they're going to have a response, but you just got to wait a little longer.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think even with nonverbal communication, I think, Nicole, I think back to one of our sessions with Weston where I was like the Weston whisperer for the day. And we were doing freeze dance. Danielle was actually the intern in the session at the time. We were doing freeze dance. And we got to the freeze part, and he took my hand and he pulled me over to the other side of the room and made me stand in the corner. And I was like,
remember this.
oh, was I not dancing like the way you wanted me to? And he went back and he danced, and Danielle played the next round of freeze dance, and then he took your hand, Nicole, and pulled you over into the corner. And I said, he's doing the Bluey theme song because earlier in the session
Oh,
we had
right.
talked about the Bluey shirt he was wearing, and the Bluey shirt says dance mode. And I, before freeze dance, I said, "Show me how you dance like Bluey." And Danielle was over this session. She's like, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's making these people not dance," and like just a little thing, it clicked.
As soon as you
Yeah.
said it, I
Right.
go, oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
And we were like,
Jen,
okay.
does Connor do that stuff? Because it happens all the time in our house where Wes will do something and I'll be like, why is he doing that? And it's nonverbal. He won't tell
Yep.
us, right? And it'll take me maybe a couple days. And I'll be like, that's why he did that. It happens
100%.
all the time. And I'm
All
like,
the time. All the
I
time.
understand it now, but like
Yep.
it takes you a couple of days, but then next time you'll know. And then you're like, oh, got it. Now you want like, yeah. But
Yep.
like
Yep.
it's like, wow, that's a lot of thinking. Like you can't imagine how much they have to think to be nonverbal, but they have to
Right.
think like 3 times more than what actually you are, just to talk. They're like
100%.
they're like talking to like they're trying to get you somewhere to show you. I mean, like their mind is like amazing. I just can't. Like
Amazing.
when
It's,
Wes would do things, I'm just like, what? And then I think about it and it's crazy. It's
yeah.
just amazing.
It is. All the time. I wish I could think of an example, but a lot of times Connor will, if he can't figure out the word for something, he'll say the color on his device so that I'm trying to figure out, okay,
What
what is
color?
he associating with this color right now that he's
Yeah.
trying to communicate to me? Because he finds a way to get to, you
What he's trying to
understanding
tell you.
where his mind is at. Yeah.
But it's pretty amazing how they're trying to do it. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
People
Truly.
have some superpowers, especially the parents, of like understanding, okay, what are they saying? Because some clients, I usually still have the parents come in the room, and like the mom would be like, oh, he means this. I'm like, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
How did you figure that out? I'm so glad you did, though.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's honestly one of my favorite superpowers that I feel like
Figuring out something.
we are like growing as young professionals is that, especially when you work with your clients for a while, you start to just these little things just pick up on them, and you're like, I know what that is.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
And how great of an advocate does that make us as well? Because now we can say, oh, well, this is how he communicates this. So next
Right.
time, if you're not understanding, maybe take a step back and look at it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right, because you got that before I did. Because I was like, I don't know what he's doing. And you got that before I figured it out.
There were like 3 things that happened that session, and I was, the other thing was, we do this song where we play instruments on different parts of our bodies, and he was not playing on the right part, like the correct part of his body, but he was playing it on his shirt, and I looked at his shirt, and Bluey's on his shirt, and he's playing it on Bluey on his shirt. And I told Danielle, and I was like, he's playing it right. He's just not playing it on his body. There was one other thing, but I don't remember what it was.
Your memory is insane. I don't remember what I did yesterday.
When I have those little like moments in sessions.
Oh, for sure. You always keep those ones.
Yeah, they stick. They stick really hard.
Internship was like a year ago.
See, okay, here's the other thing. We've talked a lot on this podcast about how Kaylee's bad at writing her notes, and staying on top of writing her notes. So all of that information was in my brain all of the time.
No.
It's been like so freeing in 2026. I'm like, oh my God, I have all this brain space. Imagine what I could do with it all.
Aw.
So good. Okay, so the next section that we have is our rapid fire questions. So I think we should each take one and ask them. You want to go first, Emily?
Yeah. Okay, so the first one we got, what is one thing you wish you could tell your younger self or someone who is navigating a new autism diagnosis?
Oof, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
And you can take as much time as you need because we can edit out the time.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Off the top of my head, honestly, would be to take a step back. I think that, and maybe I touched on this at the beginning of the podcast, but we're always looking to make the next success or, the next move that's effective for somebody. But when it comes to autism, it's always relation first. I feel like, when Connor knows, or I watch him, when he knows he's safe and when he can trust the person that he's working with or, playing with or connecting with, then he's capable of being able to communicate better and relate better and, I don't want to say perform better, but functionally be able to do more things with that person. So being able to just take a step back and meet somebody where they're at, and I think that's true for any of us. Any of us is going to be more comfortable and able to connect if we take a step back and find connection and find just a way to relate in each other's worlds with understanding and kindness, like we've been talking about. But I feel like my younger self would have just dove right in and been like, all right, let's do this. Whereas, taking a breath and meeting Connor where he's at, the day that he's having, and listening to his movements and his responses first can be a game changer.
I would say, like your question to like new parents would be, it's still the same child even after the diagnosis. It's just now you know how to handle things better. So like don't be scared. And it's okay to grieve. I feel like that's like a really hard. I always feel like I'm grieving. Like, he's 8 and he got diagnosed at 2 and I still feel like grieving sometimes. And I always feel like it's bad, but I have to remind myself it's okay to grieve the life that I did think he was going to have, but he's still a beautiful child either way. And I just have to always remember that. So I think
Oh, I
that's,
agree completely.
yeah.
100%. I especially struggle with Connor's birthday each year, just as a therapist, developmentally in my head. I like know all the milestones, but each year it's almost hard to not make those comparisons or
Right.
where friends' children's are at or what they're, doing in life. I can't imagine when he turns in his 20s or like, friends' children's where they're at in life. It's hard not to see it. But we shouldn't ignore it, like you're
Yeah.
saying. To grieve and really walk through that process is so important, while still valuing everything about life. I think
Right.
it's not one or the other.
Yeah. So I think it's okay, but you do have to like, he's still the same person. They're
Yeah.
still the same person even after that diagnosis. He's still that same kid he was 2 days ago before you got that autism diagnosis. You still love them the same. It's nothing's different. It's just something that you know now you can do to help them. So I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I wish we were all together. I just want to give you a hug. I
Aw.
think it's hard too that, and sometimes anticipatory grief is harder than just plain old grief. And, you know, you have, especially both of you have older children. And so you know what their lives are going to look like, and you know all of the things. Your children might have children. They're going to graduate high school. They're going to graduate college if they want to do that. And to know that that future is going to be different and you're going to be, I mean, I don't think it's going to be like an ending process for sure.
Right.
And I hope that we also can help provide that bright spot and, remind that these are the good moments, these are the good days, and even in the bad ones, you can still find it.
There's still so many more awesome things that are happening that we still have
Yep.
to remember, but it's just a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking our next rapid fire?
Sure. I feel like we've kind of talked about this the whole time, but maybe if you have anything else you want to add to it, what is one thing you would like everyone to know about autism? I guess
Hmm.
these aren't really like easy rapid fire questions.
They're good ones.
We did write
I
this
would
down.
say for mine is that every child is different. So like it's not that basic. They're not going to make eye contact. They're not, they're all not nonverbal. You know what I mean? It's those basic things that people just think of when they think of autism. Like they don't like to be touched. Some people love to be touched, love to be cuddled. So I think it's just that. Like everybody is different. Everybody has their own things, like own little quirks going on, you could say. That's
True.
just mine.
I think too, like ask questions. I think that it's so important that people know it's really okay to ask questions. I would answer 1,000 questions over having stares, like Nicole says.
Mhm.
Like just ask me. And I think that, being um willing to hear the answers with understanding is so huge. As a mom of any child with any disability or any concern going on, I think of, a lot of people these days have children who have celiacs or allergies, or, if another mother asks a question about what can they have and what can they not have, like that's totally acceptable. It's totally acceptable to ask questions about autism, like, what would help them feel comfortable, or how can I help you to come over and enjoy time together? Or, there's so many questions that are not they're not offending, they're welcomed. And I think that, like Nicole said, that everyone's diagnosis it's a spectrum. It's very different. So you wouldn't know the answer necessarily unless you knew my child. So, asking those questions is not offensive. It's just it's a really nice thing to do.
Well, I feel like that's the only way it's going to get better too, is if people just
Yes.
start asking. Because
Yeah.
if they don't ask, then they're not going to know. And yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah. I think after today, I'm going to be so more like aware of asking questions too. And I think I
Yeah.
just naturally do that. I naturally am that way, but now I'm going to be like, go do it. Make sure
Yeah.
you do it.
And it
Like,
makes
take
me
the
feel more
action.
comfortable too, because someone's interested and wants to know my kid, and I love that. I think that that's, any way to build a connection. So, yeah.
That's amazing. All right, we've
Danielle.
got one more for you. Danielle's going to
All
take it
right.
away.
What is one thing your child has taught you?
Hmm.
There's a lot.
I was gonna say there's a lot.
You
It doesn't have
know.
to be one
Yeah.
thing. You can
Oh,
you can
let's
brag
see.
about your kids. Please do.
Mm. Um, I did talk about patience in the beginning, but one of the other things that Connor has taught our family, um, and it goes both ways. Like Nicole said, there's the good and bad. But Connor can be pretty rigid in what he can experience and what he can't based on environmental considerations. I mean, he gets overwhelmed easily. So, some of the tough parts of that is he's taught us that we can't just access everywhere with autism. That there are some places that don't have supports available currently to help him to engage, but he has taught us how to enjoy things, have fun anywhere we're at, I guess. Like it doesn't have to be, we don't have to go to an escape room or we don't have to go for a week's vacation in Myrtle Beach. Like we can enjoy the moments and the days that we're given where we're at and with the simplest of things. I mean, going to Verona Beach is just as exciting for him as going to Florida. I mean, and it's, the excitement, the joy, the freedom he has in doing the simplest of things is a reminder that, just being present where we're at with the people that we love truly is what matters. And again, that's, there are the harder parts of it where you can't access things that might be wonderful experiences too, which some of our other siblings in the house can get a little frustrated with. But as a family, we can't always do that. But being able to recognize the joy that comes with the experiences we do have is so huge. And he's taught us to be grateful for that and to have gratitude in every moment.
At least in my family, we've been doing the gratitude and just living every day because you never know what's going to be the next day. So I definitely
Yeah.
understand enjoying the presence of we're here now and this is how we're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think not even like the next day, it could be the next 30 seconds.
Yeah.
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 For sure.
Mine, of course, is the patience, but Jen, you can probably say it, but like you really don't need to talk to somebody to just have that bond, that relationship, that love. Like you don't need words in this world. And I think that is really what I learned from Weston is
Yeah.
you don't need words at all. You can figure out what somebody needs without speaking. And that was probably like the biggest eye opener that I had with him.
Yeah.
And probably the bond between you probably see it too with your the siblings is like
Yeah.
how crazy it is how much they love each other is just
Yeah.
it's insane.
It's
Like I could
beautiful.
learn so much from my kids. Those two is just yeah, it's they're gonna change the world. Like you hope that those siblings change the world because their love for their sibling is just it's amazing.
Agreed. 100%. Yeah.
Like I've learned a lot from both of them. So
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that in some of our sessions too, when, Weston's sister Cadence will come. He really only listens to Cadence.
Oh,
she's like a second mom. Is
I
that's
know.
probably it seems like how it is for Connor and the
that's how
oldest.
Grace is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I feel
100%.
like I always say like second mother right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's always the first for the hello song as well.
Yeah.
When
Takes
Cadence
over.
comes, it's always Cadence first.
Gracie
But
laughs because she's like,
bond.
Connor gives me more kisses than you, so clearly he loves me more. Like, okay.
Yeah, we're always in competition of who he gives
Yep.
kisses to
Yeah.
in our house too.
That is so sweet. Okay, I think we are on our last question. It's not a rapid fire. Though I don't think there was anything rapid about the rapid fire. I think in my brain it was a lot more rapid than it actually ended up being. Um, okay, so for our last question, we would like to know, what would you like to see moving forward in the autism community? And then if you have any final thoughts, feel free to share those as well.
For me, I've thought about it within the autism community, and I think I touched on this a couple of times, especially just the last question. Like, we can't always access places well, but I would love to see more spaces potentially designed for people with autism, or to include more people with autism in mind. We have like ADA protocols for, accessing for physical disabilities, whereas this is another type of viewing the world that we can make simple accommodations for. One of the places we went to that I absolutely love is at Letchworth. I don't know if you've been there, Nicole, but they have the Autism Nature Trail that they opened a couple years
I
ago.
have.
And it's amazing. It's just a nature trail that has these adaptations that, as a music therapist, I'm sure you guys would love this because they have a music section and the sound, well, it's a sound section, and it's amazing. And each section has like a sensory element to it, and it's like a mile long or maybe a little longer, but it's so engaging for Connor, and he absolutely loves it. And it helps him to experience nature and in a way that's more presentable to him. But and I think there are places are starting. There's more quiet rooms at different places and things like that. But I think it would be beautiful to continue to see that expand.
Is there
Yeah, I
any...
think I'm the same. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, is there any like specific type of accommodation that you would like to see more of? Like
Swings
more
at Keys? No.
swings again?
We want a sensory room.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
More swings all over the world.
All over the world. Yeah.
Like, it
I
could just be basic, right? Like,
Yes.
you go into a restaurant, it's super loud with music.
Yes.
Turn down the music. Or you could put curtains up so you could like close the curtains, like so they don't actually see all the like just like little simple things.
Light covers. Fluorescent lights are
Yes.
terrible. Light covers are, and they're like so cheap and so easy. Um, you
Simple
know,
little things, but
little things, yeah.
people don't think about it.
And sometimes just having space, like, and I know that's not available everywhere, but or I guess maybe just understanding that movement needs to happen. When we go out to eat, like Connor can't just sit through an entire meal, so maybe just having some awareness of that. Or lately, I've seeing a lot more of like order ahead and then come for your meal, because then you're not waiting on the food to come, because there's only so much patience that's there, and little adaptations make a big difference.
And you can't
Having
make reservations anymore. You have to stand
Yes.
there and wait. Like, there just should be these simple, like, because if you wait 30 minutes for a table, that's another thing. That's
Right.
sometimes half the reason why we don't go out anyways, is because if we have to sit there and wait for 30 minutes for a table, he's done. Like, he's gone by the time you even get a table. He's
Right.
already sat for 30 minutes or waited for 30 minutes. He's already done and we haven't even started. So that's just
Right.
the other thing. So,
Right.
yeah, it's just all those little things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like most accommodations will benefit everyone. Like,
Right.
regardless if you have an autism diagnosis, like certain things, like even just a simple like a ramp for wheelchair users. I think most of us, if we see a ramp, we might use it. We don't want to go up
Right.
steps that day. So just little things. I'm sure the music, it's way too loud even for us sometimes. Just turn down the music. There's such little things that everyone's gonna benefit from. Why
Yeah.
don't we just do it?
No, exactly. I mean, my mom, she uses two hearing aids, and so when she has her hearing aids in, she goes out into a restaurant that has really loud music, or anything where there's a lot of people talking or noise. It is too much, and
Yeah.
she can't. She has to take her. We call them her ears.
That's so fun.
She's like, I don't have my
wanna
ears
hear
in.
anymore.
So she'll either have to turn them off or take them out. And, it's not just one population that will be affected.
For sure. Yeah. And it's funny because we do have like a sensory room in our house, whereas my kids, the girls use it probably as much as Connor. I can't say more, but definitely as much, especially when they have friends come over. It's enjoyable for everybody. It's accessible to everybody, but it benefits Connor in a more intentional way, and that's just the difference. So having that available is helpful for all, but intentional for some.
Yeah, and I think it's probably, your girls have learned to satisfy those vestibular needs and
Right.
physical and motor and, any sensory need in a quote unquote neurotypical way.
Right.
And you know what? I would love it if we if we had like a beanbag chairs or keys.
I know.
Yes.
Maybe
so
not.
expensive.
Okay, I do want a swing. I will not be using said swing because Kayla gets dizzy fast. But all of these things like my room is full of plants. That is a super sensory thing for me too.
Yeah.
Having that greenery in my room and um
And I think that's just the thing is that, having the accommodations in other environments makes it at all accessible for Connor, where it might be enjoyable for some of us. He isn't able to go unless some of those things are there. And I think seeing more of that universally would be, would prove that it would take that kindness and understanding into action, which would just be beautiful to see.
yes.
I always say, like, everyone says how Weston has to meet everybody else. Like
Yes.
he has to be able to live in this world. But I truly don't believe, like, yes, he does have to live in this world, but why can't this world just adapt to him? Why does he have to change? You know what I mean? Like, why does
Right.
he have to be the only one who has to work at it? Why can't the world work at it too? And I always say that, and people just look at me and then they don't say anything. But
Say it louder.
Yeah.
I see that
Yes,
all the time. Like,
I'm
why
with
does
you.
he have to be the one to change? Why can't we just change a little bit too? Why can't we just meet in the middle?
And
It's
it's
just,
so much hard work for Connor or Westland to change. Like,
yeah,
their brain is attempting to process so much that it's, and some people can't get there. They can't, force their brains to be able to make those neurotypical connections. And, we do have to meet them where they're at, or else it's not accessible. Yeah,
right. So, like, turning down the music, that's so simple. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, just stupid, silly things. Just do it. And then it's a little easier. I don't know. I just think that people don't, again, they don't ask, so they don't know. So,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah. Danielle and I were just having a conversation the other day about, you know, well, in scientific terms, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you literally just need your most basic needs met.
Yeah,
And I don't think people realize how big just regulating your nervous system is a basic need.
Right.
Basic need. And
yes,
then once you're regulated, you can, function on a whole nother level after that.
right. Right. And even in educationally, they always ask me like what Connor needs. And I was like, he needs to be regulated. You can't teach him until he's regulated. And
Yeah.
as an education philosophy, you cannot teach a child who's not regulated.
Yeah.
No.
I think I would like to hear Emily and Danielle's kind of thoughts on it, but I recently was in an IEP meeting and the way that the team was just talking about these little things of how to change and adapt behaviors. I was like, why are we worried about that?
Yeah.
Why are we worried about, not being able to touch a sticky object? I don't like being sticky, and I am quote unquote neurotypical. Okay,
Yeah.
like I don't know about that fully, but I don't like being sticky. Like, why does the world, why does this person need to be able to tolerate that? That's not a necessity.
Yeah, just
Right.
saying, why does the world have to, or why does he have to change for the world?
Right.
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 They always just say that they have to change for the world to fit in. And it's just not okay.
Right.
I think we should all be coming together
Yeah.
Come
to
together.
help. Yeah,
Oh boy, here we go.
Honestly.
Right now.
silly, but
And the Beatles said it best, by the way, all you need is love. So,
There it is.
I literally have a pin on my lanyard that says that, and it's just a little heart, and it says all you need is love. Um, so, yeah.
I think to your point of just like the IEPs, I feel like we as therapists, like our philosophies have always been meeting the client where they're at. Because IEPs
Yeah.
are very kind of more like rigid in a sense of like we're meeting our goals. Like these are the goals for the year. We have to work on our goals every day.
And obviously we follow that
Yeah,
when
of
we need
course.
to.
But I think you've seen in our sessions where if we're having a rough day, the goals aren't going to be happening.
No.
If they're
Yeah.
not regulated, they're not going to want to, they can't do it. So I think that's just our philosophy as human beings, kind of as well. Of we're not going to try and force something if we're going to make sure you're okay. We're going to go where you are and then kind of go from there and see if a goal even wants to happen that day. And I think that's just where that trust and rapport comes from.
For sure.
We're going to have a safe space.
For sure.
All
I think
right.
that was our
I think
closing.
we've gotten all of our questions in. Thank you guys for being so patient with us. I know we took up a good chunk of your Saturday afternoon.
All good.
No, that was good.
We're happy to, I'm sure Nicole would agree, but we're happy to be able to, help bring some awareness and open up our hearts and lives a little bit to bring that along.
Right. Hopefully it'll change. That's all you can do is keep talking.
Right, right.
Yes. And we still appreciate it. And we know that it's not only on your shoulders to be the advocate. So we're hoping that we can, there's 6 shoulders over here that can help carry that weight of advocacy and, spread that awareness too. So yeah. And if you come up with anything else, let us know and we can add it in later on, and we can put it in our description of the podcast if there's any resources that you want to share or anything like that. So
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
thank you. Does anybody have anything else left to say?
I think we could touch on a lot.
I think we did. Okay, so we will see you all next time we post. I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta figure out when this one's coming.
Yeah, I don't know. But yes, thank you all for listening and for joining us on this beautiful, beautiful conversation. And I hope we can have more conversations like this in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.